So, Washington is going to be where we start our last video for the states. It became a state November 11th, 1889, making it the 42nd state. The state capital of Washington is Olympia. A lot of people think it's Seattle, but it's not. It's Olympia, Washington. It's known as the Evergreen State because of its high number of pine trees. And the current governor is Jay Inslee. It's also known for Mount Rainier, which is a mountain, technically a volcano, that is in Washington. Washington is known for being the only state named after a U.S. president, even though there was at a time to name the state Jefferson, but it didn't go through. Home of the oldest operating gas station and home to Amazon.com, which are making some bucks right now because a lot of people are buying stuff online. It's also the home to Starbucks. Starbucks comes from Washington. Historically, Washington is known for the eruption of Mount St. Helens in 1980, the expedition of Lewis and Clark entering the state on October 10, 1805, and I put and twice, and having a World's Fair in 1974. This is the Washington map, and there's the state flag, which has the Great Seal of Washington, which has a picture of Washington on it. West Virginia became a state on June 20th, 1863, making it the 35th state with the capital of Charleston. This is what I was talking about. When I was mentioning South Carolina, I mentioned that you can get confused thinking, because, like, for example, I know on the test, and I'm just going to give you this, on the test, that South Carolina and West Virginia are both on there. And Charleston's going to be an option for what's the state capitals. A lot of people put Charleston with South Carolina because we relate, but it is the capital of West Virginia. The state nickname of West Virginia is the Mountain State. The current governor is Jim Justice, and it is known for coal mining. That's the major industry in West Virginia. West Virginia is home to the first Mother's Day. The first Mother's Day that ever happened was in West Virginia. The first federal prison for women, and also the first spa open to the public in the United States. West Virginia has got a lot of stuff to do with women, as we're going to see in a few minutes with the Ladies Garland. West Virginia is known for being the first state to have a sales tax. Historically, it's known for how it became a state, which was splitting from Virginia during the period of the Civil War because West Virginia wanted to fight with the Union and Virginia was fighting with the Confederacy. The home of Ladies Garland, as I just mentioned, the first paper dedicated to the interest of women. So it's the first Mother's Day, the first federal prison for women, and the home of the first dedicated paper to women. And the first glass and pottery plants. And so these are all things that happen in West Virginia. There's the state map and the state flag. Wisconsin became a state May 29, 1848, making it the 30th state. The capital of Wisconsin is Madison. Madison, Wisconsin. Its name is the Badger State. And the current governor is Tony Evers. It's known as America's Dairyland because of the high populations of dairy farms in Wisconsin. It's known for producing more milk than any other state, as I just mentioned, being home of the original Barbie and the home of Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Green Bay, Wisconsin is the toilet paper capital of the world. We needed them a few months ago. Historically, Wisconsin is known for how the British took control of Wisconsin during the French and Indian War. During that time, the British were taking different areas. They were fighting against the French here in the United States, or at the time in the colonies, and so they took control of it during that time. Industrialization, there's a huge history of industrialization in Wisconsin, and multiple labor disputes. It goes along a lot with the industrialization. There's the map and the state flag. Wyoming became a state July 10, 1890, making it the 44th state. The capital Wyoming is Cheyenne. Wyoming is Cheyenne. And again, when we went to adopt our son Noah, we drove through Cheyenne, Wyoming, and after Cheyenne, Wyoming, there wasn't much of anything following that. It's a nice little I mean, it's a perfect little western town. A lot known for rodeos and things like that. We stayed at a historic Native American hotel, something like that, and it was creepy. The floors creaked. We got there in the middle of the night because we were driving until like 1 or 2 in the morning. Then we'd stop and sleep and get next morning and keep driving. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and me and my wife were walking across the floor going to our room, and it was like like we just creaked the whole way down through there. It was creepy. The room was very spacious, but it was still very weird. But we enjoyed our stay. The nickname of Wyoming is the Equality State, and it has a history of fighting for equality, especially with women's equality. Current governor of Wyoming is Mark Gordon, and it's known for rodeos in its Old West feel. It was the first state to give women the right to vote. The women in Wyoming had the right to vote a long time before other women did. I believe it was maybe 1880, I believe, when women got the right to vote there. But I know that it was 30, 40 years before women got the right to vote everywhere else. The home of the J.C. Penney Corporation, and being the home of the majority of Yellowstone Park. It also has a city named Cody. It's named for Buffalo Bill Cody, Wyoming. Historically, Wyoming is known for being the home of several Native American groups, the creation of Yellowstone National Park in 1872, and being a pioneer in women's suffrage, hence the Equality State. These are just some pictures that we took while in Wyoming. This is driving on the left, or both pictures are driving after we left Cheyenne. It's just long periods of nothing, no houses, no trees, nothing. It was snowing. This was in September. It was already snowing up in the mountain. It was already snowing, and this was in September. They say that at the end of September, beginning of October, a lot of times, so probably around now, they shut this road down because it freezes over, and so that's something that happens in Wyoming. There is the map of Wyoming, and there is the state flag, and that leads us to the standards and objectives we started with. Discuss the makeup of the United States, examine each state with details about the political, historical, and cultural features, and we did that over the course of these notes. So I wish I could go into more detail about all these different states, but these are all 50 states, and just a little bit of information about all of them. So, hope you enjoyed it.